In 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 264, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
We are back for another week. How are you doing, Mr. Kip?
Well, I was just marveling at the fact when the intros were filmed on this, how much less gray was in my hair.
Yeah, at some point we should probably update the intro because we don't really look like that much anymore, huh? That was a lot of years.
I don't know about
ago.
that. I'm gonna have to do something. Maybe just dye the hair.
Is that what you got to do?
Yeah, maybe a nice purple or something.
I should go back and look. Do I even have hair? Or am I still like the shaved head?
I don't know. We'd have to play the intro again.
I didn't really pay much attention to it. I mean, at one point, I think when I started podcasting, I might have had a little bit more hair. I don't know. But
it could be the headphones. They're rubbing it off.
Yeah, that's exactly it. No, I'm just losing it all. It's gone, man. It's gone. That's what happens when you get old. So
yeah, don't even want to talk about
it. Yeah. So hey, what have you been up to this last week? Anything good?
Oh,
Fun,
nothing good.
No.
Yeah,
Nothing,
that's the way it is around here. I'm slowly but surely getting my yard landscaping in order.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to have to kick out a few migrant families, but once I get it all trimmed out, it's going to look pretty good.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I got to I've been working this last week. So last weekend we decided, my wife decided that it was time to go through and we needed to start doing some spring cleaning in the fall. And
better late than never.
Yeah, right. And so the spring cleaning that we were really doing was more about the kids. It was really more like getting the kids' rooms kind of reorganized, getting the playroom reorganized, getting stuff ready, like getting rid of stuff and extra stuff that we have. So I went through with the kids and started going through their room and kind of working on getting their room cleaned up. She kind of took over the playroom and just started throwing stuff out and ended up with 4 bags full of trash and like 5 or 6 trash bags full of stuff to give away, which is really, I think very cathartic for her. But then it left us with, we needed to reorganize things. And so what we did is we went to IKEA and bought a bunch of furniture from IKEA.
Oh, okay.
And so I have to say, one, I hate that store. I hate going into that store.
I hate it with a passion.
But on that same note, I love the stuff from IKEA. The stuff is just such good quality. I hate the directions too. Putting stuff together with no words is really annoying, and not labeling any of the parts. Just having to look at stuff and figure it out on the fly is kind of a pain in the ass. But the furniture, all the stuff that we got from there, we got just a 3-drawer dresser, a small one to go in the kids' room to put some of their soccer stuff in. But then we got this, I should have taken a picture of it, that would have been the smart thing, but we got this big, it's 58 inches by 58 inches, display wall. It's got a whole bunch of, cubes in it that are all together, but it's now in the playroom, and it's for all the kids' Legos. And so everything that they build and they don't want to take apart, they can put up in one of these shelves, and so it's basically like a Lego curio cabinet. It's freaking awesome. So,
Lego curio cabinet.
right?
I just like the way that
I'm,
sounds.
I'm gonna have to take a picture of it and I'll put it on the Facebook page because it just looks really cool. There's tons of like space for things on there, and right now the kids have gone and taken and put stuff up there. We just got it built. Reese and I ended up building it this evening before dinner, and then after dinner they went and filled it up with all their Legos, and like it looks more full now than what it really could be. Like we could really like get some additional like things to put inside there to allow them to double stack different things, and so they could fit a way more Legos in there, which is great, and it doesn't take up as much as like tables and shelves and stuff like that we had in that room. So now the room doesn't feel as like claustrophobic, and um, which is really nice. So yeah, we've been for Sunday, and we got all that stuff Sunday. So Sunday afternoon we were building stuff, and then today, yesterday we had soccer, and so then today we finished building stuff. We kind of got everything all built now, starting to get stuff put back together, and it's just like that feeling of like, hey, sense of accomplishment. We get to see these new pieces of furniture in places, and just I don't know, it's kind of cool, man. I like building something. Like I like getting all the pieces, and then it's like an adult Lego set. You get all the pieces, you put it all together, you get done, you're like, wow, that's actually cool looking. It,
Yeah.
it looks like the
Sounds like you
picture.
might be in engineering if you like doing that stuff.
I know, right? Yeah. And people wonder why I do what I do. But yeah,
Yeah, I didn't do any building as such, but I pretty much spent the entire Sunday afternoon in the kitchen with my Instant Pot.
ooh, there you go.
I made cheesecake, first time I've ever made cheesecake, and I made it in the Instant Pot. And then I made Hungarian goulash.
Ooh.
And there's a guy on YouTube. His channel's called Press Your Luck, like pressure cooking, Press Your Luck. He has a Hungarian goulash recipe. Highly recommend that one.
Yeah.
So good. So good. And I
Cool.
did it with the 2 cups of beef broth instead of half beef broth, half red wine. It still was delicious.
Awesome. Yeah.
Just a little, you tune into Geekvice to get recipe
Yeah.
recommendations.
Well, I mean, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
We're full of all kinds of geekiness, and today's episode really is kind of all gonna be all over the board because we got geeky organizing things, we got geeky cooking stuff, and like I really want to talk about so Sunday night, my wife and I went to the 25th anniversary of Live's Throwing Copper album. So a concert with Live and Bush both headlining on Sunday night, and that was freaking awesome. That was a lot of fun to go to, and so we get to geek out on some music too. That was a lot of fun. I posted that up
That
on
is
the
fun.
the Facebook page that while we were there, and yeah, Bush was awesome. I also thought it was funny because I expected Bush to really be like the headliner and be the last band to play, but they weren't, which was kind of cool. They played first, and then um, well, I guess they played second because Our Lady Peace opened for them. I didn't actually realize that I've heard of that band, but I know absolutely zero of the songs they played. So they were there. They weren't bad. That's not a band that I followed very much.
I just don't think I've ever even heard of them.
Yeah, and I've heard of them on the radio, just like you know, opening for somebody else, or I think they played at Rockfest, maybe. I don't know. Um, but I've never seen them in concert before, and I really didn't know any of their songs. So, but they were there, and they weren't bad. But Bush was a lot of fun. The difference between the two bands was really kind of surprising, and I mean, I say that, and people are probably listen to this, going, "Dude, it's Bush and Live. They're completely different bands." Like, yes, I get that, but when you go to Live events like that, when you go to concerts, you expect to see certain things. And like Bush, as much as, you know, as much as they jumped around and, they ran around the stage and did stuff, it was cool. But the thing about Bush that I really enjoyed about the concert was the the guy that was doing all the video board behind the band. That stuff was awesome, and it fit so well with the songs they were playing. Like that was great. That was really awesome, and I think I enjoyed that part of Bush more than listening to the music. And then,
He must have been really good.
yeah, I mean, it was really cool stuff. Like it was just really good. Like one of the, and I wish I could remember the songs because I mean that was too many nights ago, and I don't remember um, what it was that they were playing at that time. But on the video, like on the video board, they had like and here I'm gonna geek out again for it was like a 3D rendering of a woman, but it was like the mesh of it, and that was the whole thing started with just her legs, and it was just like a 3D mesh of her legs, and then it would like rotate it around, almost like you were taking a 3D model of it and rotating it around, looking at the 3D model. I completely lost track of the song altogether and was just watching the mesh of this model being rotated around. It's that's the stupid stuff that goes on in my head, guys. Leave me alone. Um, but it it was just really kind of cool. But then on the flip side, you go to live, and the stuff that live had going on in the background was just almost like Winamp type visual effects back there. It was it was there and it was okay, but that wasn't what they were more. I caught myself just watching more the lead singer and the lead guitarist like just jumping around on the stage and running around and just going crazy and getting really into it more. And like that was like that that was the visual right there instead of the stuff that was going on the video wall. So it was just really cool. But great music, of course. Bring back all the nostalgia from the '90s, and um, yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So, and
Yeah, it always surprises me, and it shouldn't, that when you hear people went to a concert for a band and you're like, oh, they're still together?
yeah,
Live being one of those bands.
right, yeah, it was. I mean, I was kind of surprised too. I didn't realize it either, but well, the it was really funny watching the people that were there too, because these are not new bands. These are bands that have been around for a long time. I mean, there's a 25th anniversary of their album. I mean, it, so these guys have been around for a long time. Well, the demographic that was there was really interesting because there were some people that you looked at me like, "Oh, dude, you must have been doing drugs. Like you're not that much older than I am, but you must have done drugs hard when this first came out." Like, and you didn't stop. Like you look like you're about dead. And and then you have some people that you look at them, you're like, "Oh, yeah, I don't think you should wear that in public." Then there was one lady that was wearing sweatpants and like an overly baggy T-shirt. She looked like she just woke up, like just came out of bed, got out of bed, and came right to the concert. Like that's one way to be there.
Yeah. She
There,
set her alarm and she stuck to it.
right? Yeah, there was a guy and a girl that were a couple rows in front of us that I mean, one, you looked at him, you're like, why the hell are you two together? That's an like weird thing, but man, they were getting into the music. They there was one point where I looked at Amber and I'm like, should somebody go tell them to get a room? Like, but and then of course at some point it wouldn't be a concert until until somebody broke out like some of their favorite smoking uh, stuff in the stands, and all of a sudden everyone's starting to looking around, going, "Was that you?" No, that wasn't me. Was it you? Who? Where did that come from? It was Amber looked at me and I looked at her and we just laughed. We're just like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. Because you knew it was gonna come. Somebody was gonna break it out at some point. But it was just
Oh, yeah.
when, and when they did, it was like trying to find who. Like it was like mystery. Who did it? Who did it? So, but yeah, a lot of fun. Um, my wife had, since she worked in the music industry for a while, for a lot of years, she we went to quite a few concerts, but since she left, we really haven't gone to that many. And after going to this concert, she's like, you know what? I had forgot how much I really enjoyed live music. So in between Bush and live, we were sitting there on our phones looking up other concerts that were coming. I think we're going to a concert in a couple, like middle of August, and then possibly another one early September. So
Do you remember who you're going to see?
we're gonna go see Ben Folds at Starlight in the middle of August. Um,
Nice.
Ben Folds and the Violent Femmes, which I'm not really, angry lesbian music. Okay, whatever. But Ben Folds is awesome. I love Ben Folds. And then first part of September, we're looking at. We don't have the tickets yet, but we're looking at possibly going to see Breaking Benjamin with 3 Days Grace, Chevelle, and Dorothy.
See, that's the one I would enjoy.
Yeah. So we saw that one. I'm like, ooh, that could be really good. I mean, I don't follow a lot of music, so I don't know any of the new stuff that any of those bands have put together. But I really like some of Chevelle's stuff from like oh, 10, 15 years ago. So
Like the Red.
yep, yep. And 3 Days Grace, I've got several of their albums. So um, and Breaking Benjamin, I got several of those. I don't know that I have any Dorothy albums, but I might. I just don't know it. Um, but yeah, so looking forward, we might be doing that one too. That one's first part of September at Sandstone. So
Yeah, I just recommend before you go to research the Violent Femmes
yeah.
because they are not an angry lesbian band.
Oh really? All right. I'm gonna have to look it up
uh,
now.
they're American folk punk.
Okay. I
I
don't
just
know
got to
anything.
say that before somebody listening to this goes, he has no idea what he's talking about.
I really have no idea what I'm talking about because I don't know that I've ever heard them. So, oh hey, yeah, that's like three dudes.
You've heard the song Blister in the Sun, right?
Um, Probably if I heard it.
I think it was redone by Weezer, but
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah, they did the original.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to go look this stuff up because I don't know that I ever. I don't think I realized who they were, and that happens a
Yeah.
lot because, like I said, I don't follow music. So thanks for
Yeah.
correcting me. I apologize to anyone who's the Violent Femmes.
Because I'm sure they're listening to us.
Yeah, they're from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, so they probably have nothing better to do but listen to us.
They were initially active from 1980 to 2009, and the band has since been active again from 2013. All right. Hey, you know what? And they got a saxophonist. So, hey, they got a saxophone playing. That means they got to be good.
That's right.
So, yeah, I'm going to go see them. I'm guessing they're opening for Ben Folds, but whatever.
Probably.
I'm there
But you
for it.
can't go wrong with either one of them.
No,
So,
I'm a big fan of Ben Folds, so I'll be there.
funny thing about live music is unless you're just really a crappy musician, everybody sounds better live, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree
You,
with that.
I am not a country music fan whatsoever, but we got free tickets one year to see Garth Brooks. Loved it.
Yeah.
I would not have listened to him on my own on purpose, but live it was pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like when it gets to that point, like when you get to live music, then you're really looking at like the how good are they? Like, are they a good entertainer? Because the songs can be good, but they have to be able to entertain as well. And I think that's an art to be able to get up on a stage, still sing your songs, but be entertaining while you do it.
Yeah,
Because nobody wants to go
absolutely.
just like go pay the amount of money you got to pay to get into a concert and then sit there and watch a guy stand up there and not move and not do and nothing happen on stage except music getting played. Like,
Like grunge music. That's how they were.
right, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It's fun, and shout out to all the live concerts out there. Go see some live music. Support your live music. Don't let it die. I want to. I
Agreed.
want to at some point to get up to Omaha and go see Billy play sometime. So I
Yeah.
I got to make that happen. Because that would
And
be
then
fun.
you'll just end up throwing your underwear up on stage. So
Probably, probably. And nobody. I don't know that anybody really wants that. I mean, racing stripes and all.
Hey, I didn't even go there.
Oh, so yeah. So let's talk about some TV shows. Cause you finished this TV show?
I have finished this TV show.
How many episodes we talking about here?
8.
8 episodes. Oh, that's good.
8
Yeah, I'm
episodes, and
definitely gonna
they're
check this
like an
out.
hour and 5 minutes each.
Yeah,
And it's on Amazon Prime. And it's called The Boys.
cool.
And, you know, seeing the trailer, I kind of had, I guess, an idea what the show was going to be before I started watching it. Not have never read the comics, knew nothing of it except for this trailer I just watched. I was wrong. I thought it was going to be kind of just more on the silly side, maybe a little bit more like Good Omens, where there's a good story, but it's also got this level of being silly to it. I did not realize how deep this story was, all the metaphors for today's society that's in there. Holy crap. And I say all that with the caveat that I loved the show. Absolutely loved it. Carl Urban plays Billy Butcher. Billy Butcher can't speak. If you don't know who Carl Urban is, he was in the Judge Dredd remake. He was in the
Chronicles
Riddick
of Riddick.
Chronicles.
Yeah,
Red.
he was also in one of our favorite TV shows that got canceled.
Yeah. What was that called? That wasn't Almost Human. What was that called?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Was it Almost Human?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought that might have been it. It's
Yep,
so I've always liked
yep.
him.
It was Almost Human.
Yeah. So he's Australian. He got his start on Xena, I think. Either Hercules or Xena. I think it was Xena. And I didn't watch it. I only know that he got his start from there because my wife was a huge fan of that show. And I realized watching this, I don't think I've ever heard his actual speaking voice. Well, I guess the voice I've heard, but his actual um, way he speaks, I don't think
Yeah,
I've never heard his natural cadence.
right.
Being Australian, I've seen him play a lot of American roles where he sounds like us.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now watching this, he kind of had a British Cockney accent. So I don't think I've ever heard his actual speaking accent, his native tongue, if you will.
Right? Yeah,
But
I
with
can
all
believe that.
that said, I'm a big fan of him. He did a fantastic job as Billy Butcher. The guy who plays Hugh, Uh, he is the son of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid.
Oh, really?
His name is Jack Quaid. Um, really liked him in this. Apparently, I've seen him in other stuff and just didn't connect the dots until. If you ever watch TV with me, you'll notice that I have IMDb up on my phone while I'm watching. Going, oh, I've seen that guy in something, and then look it up. Um, so so he was really good. He played the not really wanting to be there
hmm
hero.
hmm
Um, and he played it well. That's all I can say. I really want to get into the show, but since you haven't seen it, and I think a lot of people listening have not seen it, I don't want to give
Yeah,
anything away.
it's fairly new.
But
It
I'll
hasn't been
just,
out for very long,
yeah, it came out last weekend.
and it's on
So
Hulu.
on on Amazon,
Or is it on Amazon? Amazon Prime?
yeah, I'm on Amazon Prime. Um, the basis of it is there are superheroes, and they're not necessarily the good guys. And of course, Billy Butcher knows this,
hmm
but in his band of misfit toys, but nobody else does, and so he's off to try to bring the whole thing down, and it's just deeper than you expect it to be. Um, every aspect of the corporation the supers work for, Vought, that's it.
hmm
So many metaphors between Vought and what's going on in the world today. Big corporations, the one percenters, um, the profiting off of war, fake news, all that stuff going on now, right in there. If you pay
Yeah.
attention, you're like, holy shit, I bet that's going on today. You know, just stuff happens that draws them into a conflict that we created ourselves just so we could have another war to fight. It's like, do we do that? We might, because that's big business.
hmm
So that's all in this TV show, but it's not just jamming it down your throat. It's not making you feel bad about being American. It's there. You can ignore it if you want, and it still makes for a great TV show. Um, I don't
So,
know. I can't recommend it enough.
yes, and I haven't seen the TV show yet, but I have read the first volume, which is episode, or I guess issues 1 through 6. It's the mini series is how this thing started off. This was this is a comic book that is written by Garth Ennis, who is also known for the comic book series Preacher, which is also turned into a TV show. Um, but for those of you that have read these comic books, no surprise, they fit very hand in hand. For those of you that haven't seen Preacher, the TV show is way less graphic than the comic book, and that's saying a lot. And Ennis actually came out when he was doing the Boys first comic book and said that the Boys would out Preacher. So he is very like these are over the top, but very like the comic book is not for kids. Do not let your kids read the comic book.
The
Much
TV
like
show is
yeah.
definitely not for kids.
So if you enjoyed this TV show, I definitely recommend going and checking out the comic book. There is a lot of them out there. It ran from 2006 to 2012, 72 issues. It started at Wildstorm for the first 6 for that original miniseries, and then it was moved. They moved over to Dynamite Entertainment. But the Garth Ennis wrote this whole thing. He created it with the help of Derek Robertson. This is an awesome comic book, but um, extreme violence and sexuality are staples to this series, and
Yeah.
so it will be very curious. I haven't seen the TV show yet, so I don't know what all they've hit, but I know there are some topics and themes that come up within the whole run of the boys that would be very, very interesting to see if Amazon has the, uh, let's just say, guts to put them into a TV show and make it
Well,
visual. So,
they seem to have pulled no punches. I mean, there's male full frontal nudity. There is gore.
yeah,
There is the flagrant use of the word cunt.
yep.
Um, yeah, I I highly doubt they shied away from anything that's in the comic.
So yeah, it's really good. It has a great story. Garth Ennis tells some of the like he is one of my favorite storytellers. Some of his books I can't have at the house though. I have to keep them hidden because it's I just don't need my kids flipping through comic books and going, "Hey, what's this?" Um, because they're
Yeah,
you know they're definitely on a whole other level. I do want to check this out. This is on my list to watch.
yeah.
So I will definitely
I
be watching this,
I highly recommend it.
and I'm
I'd be
curious to
curious
see
since
what
you
they
did
do.
read the first series if this follows along
Mm-hmm.
with the first series. There's definitely a beginning and the end
Yeah,
um, for at least one of the storylines in this season.
yeah,
The way it ended, I did not see coming, but as usual, they hinted at it, and you don't know they're hinting at it. But when it does happen, I just kind of leaned back on the chair. It's like, fuck,
yeah,
I didn't see that. But
yeah. It'll
yeah,
be it'll
I
be really
was,
interesting, and I hope that this is well received enough that they keep going and they you know they get to do more because I love seeing some of this stuff get turned. I like good stories, good comic book stories getting put out there, and um, yeah, it's it's always good. And Garth Ennis is
yeah,
awesome. His
it's good,
storytelling is
and
just awesome.
yeah, you just what I like about it is you think, oh, it's another comic book movie. No,
Nope,
it's
nope,
not just another comic book show.
nope.
It will blow you away in a good way.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So I will go on the opposite front of that. I have been watching a comic book show, but not on Amazon Prime, but on Netflix. Jessica Jones season 3 dropped without anyone really making a big hoopla for it. After we got done watching Stranger Things season 3 last week, I saw that it said my Netflix thing said, "Hey, there's new episodes of Jessica Jones out." I'm like, man, why have I not heard anyone talking about Jessica Jones? Well, that's probably because they know this is the last Netflix uh, anything from Marvel,
Yeah,
and
unfortunately.
yeah, but I'm like, you know what? I've watched all the others, and I really enjoyed season 1 and 2 of Jessica Jones. One more than two. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna start watching this. I'm only now, unlike The Boys, it's only 8 episodes. Jessica Jones is 13 episodes, and I'm only about halfway through it so far. But I gotta say that it is really well done. They um, the way it carries on from the way season 2 ended was really well. They keep that going. The tension between the characters is there, and it's really good. Um, I really enjoy the story of it. I really enjoy so far. I like where they're going, and I feel like this is kind of this is more of a like so many of the Marvel shows on Netflix. The you end up with the hero being down and like just falling and then having to find himself through this episode. This one is more like Jessica Jones is at rock bottom, and
Okay.
she has started at rock bottom. She just down. I mean, can't get any lower than what she is right now. Has isolated herself from everybody else. She's trying to move forward, but just she's at the bottom, and it's it's her realizing that, you know what, she, at least within the first, the first half of it, she really is kind of a hero, and um and that she doesn't have to do this all by herself.
Okay.
And it introduces a few more people that have superhuman abilities. Um, Not just a bad guy. In the first one, I felt like it was the first season was Jessica Jones against David Tennant. Sorry, Kilgrave.
Either
And
way.
yeah, and it was super against super. In the second season, you got a little bit more Luke Cage in there. You got a little bit, you had some stuff, but it really wasn't the same. This one is more just, at least so far, and granted I'm only halfway, so it could, Marvel, they like to make big sweeping changes halfway through a season, so it might change completely. But right now, it feels like we're leading up to the really foundation of Alias investigations with a real good team and group helping Jessica Jones. And
Hmm.
more than just, like other guys. Like these are actually some other super powered heroes. So really, I'm liking it so far. I really enjoy it. I can't wait to get the last half finished. And it's kind of sad because this is the end of it. But um, you know, if it ends well, then I'm okay with it. So,
It is sad because Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones
oh,
was amazing.
she's amazing, amazing. She fits that role. Like, I don't know, that's bad to say, but she looks the part. She can act the part. She pulls it off so well,
Yeah.
so well. So yeah, she knocks it out of the park again. So go. I recommend go watch Jessica Jones.
So are you liking it better than season 2?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I
I
am.
did not finish season 2 for some reason. It just wasn't speaking to me.
You know what? You could go, like, honestly, you could skip season two, go right to season three, just watch that first little recap that they put at the very beginning of the season. That'll get you caught up just fine.
Okay, I'll do that.
Because honestly, it had been so long since season two, and so much other Marvel stuff has gone on since season two of Jessica Jones. I honestly had forgotten what had happened. So I watched the recap just to be able to get me back up to speed. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, and that happened. It really gave you the really good cliff notes of season two that you need to be able to move on. So it even gives you cliff notes from season one as well. So it you
Great.
could watch that and have not watched any of the other stuff, and it'll get you right up to speed. So
So, like you mentioned, all the changes in the Marvel universe, do any of them show up or at least get mentioned in Jessica
no,
Jones?
nope, nope. I have a feeling that timing wise, I feel like this takes place way before all of the movies.
Okay.
Like this, and maybe not like every movie, because I think season one they name drop some stuff that had happened, like maybe the first Avengers movie type stuff. But this is way before Endgame. This is way before Infinity War. This is way before all that. I feel you don't have any of that vibe in it. Um, at least not yet. So again, I still got 6 episodes to watch. So I mean, they did it to Agents of Shield in the very first season. That halfway through it, they was when the Winter Soldier came out, and then all of a sudden that tone changed drastically in the TV show when
They
Hydra
had
was
to too
revealed.
because that TV show was horrible
Oh
until
yeah,
that change.
yeah. I'm watching that too. I've only watched the first 3 episodes of this last season because the season's actually out right now. Um, Oddly enough, it wasn't a fall release. It came out. It was more like a summer release, and so I've been watching that, trying to get caught up on Agents of Shield, which is really good too. So I'll have to talk about that next time when I get a little farther into it. So yeah, that's what we got.
Very good.
Um, there's one more thing that I want to throw out there since we got some time here. We got a few minutes. I want to give a shout out to a local brewery here in town, in the Kansas City area, and it is called Service Brewing Company. And service is spelled like Servaes. I'm going to put a link to it in the show notes. So if you're on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this, go check out the show notes, and um, and you can find it there. But the interesting thing about um, this brewery is that it is female owned and female head brewmaster, same person. And um, Courtney Service began brewing back in like 2012, and just in her house, and has turned it into this restaurant, or this brewery, not restaurant, brewery. And it's down on Johnson Drive here in the Kansas City area, and just in a little strip mall. Has a little space, but man, does she have some interesting beers. It's We ran across it by accident. My wife and I didn't have the kids for an evening, and we were driving back from the other side of town, and we're like, let's stop at a brewery and have a couple drinks. And we're like, well, let's go someplace we haven't been before. So of course, pull up Google, search for breweries as we're driving. I'm like, well, this brewery over here has got a lot of stars, so let's go check it out. So it wasn't too far away from where we were, so we stopped and went in here. And unlike most breweries that have like a standard set of beers, like, hey, we always make these beers. Service Brewing doesn't do that. They have some types of beers that they focus on, but all their beers are different every batch. They have all new stuff, so you could really like one beer and come back the next week and it's gone. While we were there, they actually ran out of. They had 3 kegs go empty while we were there. So, you know, when they're gone, and you gotta wait for the next batch to come out before the next one's there. So it's really kind of a cool approach to it. They focus on New England IPAs, which are hoppier, like higher alcohol content IPAs. But then they also do some really cool sour beers. And for those of you that don't know what sour beers are, they have a bite, and well, they're sour. They have a sour flavor to them, like sour candy. And if you've had like Boulevard's Love Child, that's a sour beer. There's a lot of sour beers out there, but they're not made very often. Small places don't usually make them because it's really select group. You got to make some really interesting stuff to be able to to really sell them. and somebody has to be willing to go out on a limb to try them. Some of the stuff that they have at Service Brewing is awesome. I mean, just incredible. And the way what they brew in with them, the way they mix the flavors together is kind of crazy as well. So one of the beers that we had that my wife absolutely loved, it was called Bomb Pop, and it tasted like it was a sour beer, and it tasted like a bomb pop. You're drinking this beer, and it tastes like a bomb pop popsicle. And we were reading a little bit more about how what all was in this. They actually used melted bomb pop in the brewing process. Who would have thought to do something like that? I mean, but it was delicious. Oh, it was a sour beer, so it has a sour flavor, but it's so smooth that it's like drinking candy. I mean, it was
Well, I'm
dangerous.
intrigued. I'm gonna have to. The whole idea of sour beer just sounds off-putting, but I don't know. The way you put it, I may have to give it a try.
You should definitely give it a try. Um, and if you don't like one, don't give up because there are so many different sour beers and everybody makes them differently and they're all different stuff in them. Um, but you have to be willing to. I mean, it's it's like licking a lemon. You know, you get that that feeling in the back of your mouth that's like just makes you pucker a little bit. And but some are really strong and some have a little lighter to it. Depends on what you're looking for. So it I just thought it was really cool. They had some really interesting beers. Um, one of them that's out right now that I really want to try is they call it Like Butterflies Shark Attack, and it features blue raspberry, cherry, and orange. So, uh, sounds really good to me. Sounds like candy.
It sounds like somebody on LSD making beer.
Yes, yeah, but it's good. But it's good,
Hey, I grew up on cartoons created by people on LSD, so
right?
to me that was like a compliment.
Yeah, exactly. So, looking at their beer list right here, they've got one called Hazy Season IPA, which is like a session IPA. Um, Pretty mild. It'd be your milder beer. They've got a Going Pro 2.0, which I think is actually a um, one that they have brewed before, um, but obviously she's changed it up some so that it's not exactly the same as before. They have a couple others here that are look like they are for Shark Week this week, which is a Barrier Bite, which is an IPA. Um, so she says this is they're, it's a New England IPA that is brewed only with Australian hops in honor of the Great Barrier Reef that's in Australia. So I think that's kind of cool. Very interesting idea. And then they have the other one that I thought is really interesting, and I really kind of want to try it. It's called uh, Great White Stout, and it is so stout beers are usually a darker beer, but this one is a white
Right.
stout. So this is going to have like a lighter flavor and a lighter color to it, um, which is almost like a kind of like a take on a Guinness Blonde if you want to go with like something people know about. So really, really kind of interesting to see some of the stuff that she has come out and the fact that it's new things all the time. I like the idea of being able to go in and you can get a flight so you can get just taster pours of these and you can get 4 or 5 of them and whatever they have on tap, try them and then go from there, or like my wife and I, when we went there, they had 8 beers on tap. So we got 2 flights, one for each of us. So we tried 8 different beers, and then from there we picked our favorites and got full pours. So it's you know, a great way to try a whole bunch of things and try stuff that you've never seen before, and honestly, you never will see before because she's might not brew it again, or at least not brew it the same way. So I think that's really cool.
That is cool, and I like the fact that she's not afraid to take chances with some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's amazing. I can't believe nobody else has done that. And the place isn't all that far from my house, so I definitely going to have to sneak in there sometime.
There you go. Yeah. So I'll put a link to their website in the show notes, and yeah, definitely give them a try. It's really good. I liked it a lot, and we'll be going back there again. They have and they even have to go stuff there. So if you find a beer that you like, you can get. They do 4 packs of 16-ounce cans. So we we brought some of those home. They're in the fridge. They're in the beer fridge. So that's what I got.
All right. Sounded like an invite to come over and drink the beer out of your fridge. I don't know if just me.
Anyone is welcome to come drink my beer in my fridge because that's what I do. You know, it's funny because there'll be times where we're just sitting in the driveway. My wife and I'll just go sit in the driveway in an evening, especially in the weekend, and we'll prop up our lawn chairs. We'll have the garage door open, and we'll just have a couple beers, and then all of a sudden there's 15 people at our house, and we're all just sitting in the driveway drinking beer. So it happens. Everyone's welcome.
That sounds pretty good.
Everyone's welcome.
Yeah, we're antisocial. If we're home, we're in the house.
Yeah, I can understand that. Your neighborhood doesn't really tend to that doesn't really like lend itself well to that.
No. No.
Most of the time when we go out to the driveway, it's because we don't want to listen to our kids. So we leave them in the house doing something, and we go sit outside where it's quiet. But hey. All right, everybody. That's where we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. It's a perfect stopping spot. You know the deal. Go check us out at the blog, geekvice.blogspot.com. Go follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/geekvice. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at Geekvice. You can follow that man over there at Kip Killian. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go search for Kip Morph on YouTube or go to our Facebook page. You can subscribe right from our Facebook page. Makes 2 birds, 1 stone. And, of course, as always, you can reach us by email at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next time.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.